off by saying congratulations with everything you guys have been doing this year. It seems every time we play a new single from you guys, people are falling in love with it straight away, and now we've got the brand new single that we're playing as well, so congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an exciting year from after kind of like 2 years of absolute nothing, so it's really nice to be able to get back into stuff and actually releasing the music we've been sitting on for a while now, so yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what the last couple of years have been like for you guys. Of course, you haven't had as many lockdowns up in Brisbane as we've had down here in Melbourne. Did that give you a bit of an opportunity to get out there and work on your music even though you couldn't play shows?
Well, funnily enough, only 3 of us are in Brisbane and 1 of us is in Melbourne, so that proved a little bit of a challenge during the whole kind of lockdown periods, because when 3 of us could do stuff, 1 of us couldn't, and we recorded our album basically right when the lockdown started happening in Brisbane. We had kind of just finished all the instruments and were about to start vocals, and then kind of the next day, actually the night before we were due to start vocals, all the rules kind of came in and we're like, I don't think we're actually allowed to be in the same room together anymore. So we had to press pause on that for a couple months, and then we ended up finishing the album in October of 2020, and then the kind of like mixing and all that stuff takes a little while, and then we kind of kept trying to make plans of doing all the kind of like business stuff, like shooting videos and just trying to get some kind of schedule together. And then every time things would open up, some person would sneak into Queensland from New South Wales and you'd be in another lockdown, at the drop of a hat. So it became really hard to plan things. So we didn't want to, because we'd been gone for so long, we didn't want to come back and then press pause again for however long COVID dictated that time. So we kind of wanted to just hit the ground running, which did mean we had to wait a bit longer than we intended. But now we can kind of we started in, I think, about March with the first song, and it's just been a steady stream since then, and being able to play some shows again. But yeah, it did kind of make us sit around for a while, because it was just so hard to know what the next month was going to hold in terms of being able to leave your house or leave the state.
And did you find yourself reworking the tracks over that time? I've spoken to so many bands that have said that because they were kind of sitting there and they had music recorded, they ended up playing around with the tracks and finding themselves getting an even better track than what they had originally started with. Did you guys find that at all as well?
Yeah, a little bit. So because of the way it worked, we were like, because we'd kind of planned to have a break anyway, just because of personal things and just the music industry, we were kind of a little bit ahead of, I guess, a lot of other people, because we'd had our album booked in to record before kind of COVID happened. But then when we had to stop for just before we started doing vocals, we did get kind of like an extra 3 to 4 months to think about things. And there was one song in particular on the album that's called A Sad Song for the End of the World, where previously I had written lyrics to that, kind of just about a previous relationship, and Dom, our other vocalist, kind of kept just subtly hinting at me if I wanted to think about maybe rewriting them, just in his in his way of saying they weren't his favorite thing I'd ever written. And after that, and kind of just because of the extra few months past, I guess the thing that inspired my lyrics, I was like, okay, I'll give this a go and try to write something else. And I think literally the day before we went to record vocals, I wrote a song that had nothing to do with a relationship, and as the title suggests, was a bit about just the previous 2 years, about everything in the world falling to pieces, and it ended up being about that instead. And it's some of the lines and some of my favorite I've written. So thanks to Dom kind of subtly hinting that my previous work was awful, it turned into something. Yeah.
Well, the current single that we're playing at the moment is Grace. Tell us a little bit about Grace as a track. How did that song come into being, and what was it written about?
So Grace we kind of write things in a few different ways because we've got a few cooks in our kitchen. So this one the music was written entirely by Marcus, our guitarist. That's because he's not a vocalist. He's just, he does everything with instruments. So every now and then you will just get a completely 100% written song sent through from him, and Dom and I kind of will take turns at choosing who gets to sing over them, and ended up being Dom this time. But I think it's the lyric. I don't know why he chose to write about this, but it was, I guess, just kind of learning about the state of the world, and this song's kind of about the privilege that we have in our society, like specifically the Western developed world, and a lot of the beliefs that we have that really only work in our bubble. The way we kind of may think, or certain groups in our wider culture might think that they have someone looking over them and helping them out, but that belief doesn't really zoom out to a lot of the third world countries. Why would your God kind of be making sure that you have a great week, but not really care about the 4-year-old not being able to eat tonight? So it's kind of that kind of. The lyrics are really sarcastic, which I think is really funny because it's kind of how we speak to each other. So there's this line in the song, maybe my favorite line Dom's ever written. It says, "Divine entities protect the rich's interests."
Yep.
Because like some rich guy walking up to an award show, getting some award in his tuxedo and thanking God. But yeah, again, like, why is he doing that but not doing some other stuff that could really help people? So it's this just kind of the self-centered culture, and how we can really take that for granted and be worried about things that aren't that important when there's like really serious life and death stuff going on. But it's probably our most aggressive song we've ever written as well. So the last one's a bit of a one of our kind of softer, more Angels and Airwaves, Coldplay, U2 kind of leaning songs, but this one's definitely a total 180 from that, and it's a really up-tempo, rocking, aggressive, angry song, and it's one of our favorites, so we're really excited for it.
Definitely. Now the album comes out on November 11th, and as we said, this is the fourth single that's out now. Has it kind of made you guys feel a little bit less nervous about the album coming out because the singles have been so well received?
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. I guess especially because of the massive gap in between doing things, we were really unsure how everything was going to be received after almost 3 years. But kind of one of the good things about we're doing this kind of really long rollout and having quite a few singles, which is mostly down to just vinyl delays, but it's given us a really good opportunity to kind of release all the different sounds on the album. So I think it's been really nice to, instead of like our last album where it was kind of like from announcing to releasing it was probably about 2 months, this one's kind of a while. So it's kind of, we're really like showcasing everything we want so that I guess people have a way better idea going in as well. And yeah, we're really happy about how everything's going, and really appreciative of the reaction to our music after so long, and really stoked that people still care, which is really nice.
Now you're about to head out onto the road as well for a tour supporting Terror. So tell us a little bit about how you guys feel about being able to get back out there on the road and play some shows.
It's amazing. When all the lockdowns happened, it kind of took away this thing that probably took a little bit for granted. And there was a period there where we didn't really know when we were ever going to play a show again. It'd been, when before COVID, it was kind of like, it would maybe be like 2 months at the most before you'd play another show. And we went, literally 2 years. So it's a really, really cool feeling, and we're really thankful for Terra for taking us out. We actually played a show with them a few years ago. We both supported the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, so it's really cool to be able to do a full tour with them, and kind of we've been a band for a little bit longer than them, that we're like really excited to kind of get a chance to, you know, be a part of a bit of the new generation of music. And yeah, just really thankful for them. And I think they're going to be some awesome shows. And yeah, it's just really exciting to be able to play music again. It's kind of, the break from it really gave us a refreshed appreciation for it. So yeah, we're stoked.
I've noticed too that a lot of people's thoughts and feelings at shows have changed a lot since we've got back with everything opening back up again. Because for me, myself, I've been going to shows now for 30 years, and you kind of took them for granted that, yeah, you'd be able to go to a show every week. Have you noticed that amongst your own fans, that people don't take live shows for granted anymore?
Yeah, 100%. It, like, exactly as you said, I think that period away really, you know, it's not just about, I guess, the face value of seeing music. It's about the community, and, you know, like, you realize that once you've been involved with music for a little while, kind of your whole world and social life revolves around it, and the people you're closest with, like everyone I'm closest with, I met through music, and not being able to kind of be a part of that for so long, it makes you feel a bit empty. And yeah, getting to kind of, yeah, just see how much it really means to everyone again, because it was taken away, and, you know, you don't know what you've lost till it's gone. And, you know, and, you know, when you'd kind of be like, oh, I might go to this show this weekend, I'll see how you feel, you kind of lock it in a bit earlier now, because, yeah, who knows when, you know, the next pandemic will hit, and, you know, it won't be such an easy thing to do anymore.
Definitely. Well, Liam, we're going to play Grace on our show again right now. So what would you like to say to everybody out there before they take a listen to this amazing track, but also before they go out and buy tickets to your shows as well?
Just thank you. Like, I genuinely hope you like this new one. We've got a couple more, but yeah, just so appreciative for anyone that listens to us or comes and sees us live. It truly means the world.